This video is about graphing standard form using intercepts. So first we're going to identify what x and y intercepts are from the equation and graph using them. So before we get to that, we're going to look at a graph and determine what the x and the y intercept is. So the x-intercept is the point that crosses the x-axis. When it crosses the x-axis, we're going to have an x-coordinate and we're going to have 0 for the y-coordinate. So here is our x-coordinate at -3. So we have -3, 0 for the x-intercept. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, and we should be familiar with this from graphing before when we were doing slope-intercept form. So in this case, when it crosses the y-axis, it's also at -3. This time the 0 coordinate is going to be for x, and then -3 is the y-coordinate. So whichever intercept you're looking for, the other coordinate is going to have a 0 with it. So let's try one more example. So in number 2, the x-coordinate is where we cross the x-axis. And we're crossing here at -2. So the x-intercept is -2, and the y-coordinate for that will be 0 then. Then for the y-intercept, it's where it crosses the y-axis, which is up here at 3. So our x-coordinate is going to be 0, and the y-coordinate is going to be 3. So when we are going to graph, remember that the important thing is that both intercepts is where the point crosses, and the opposite variable is going to be 0. So that means when we're looking for the y-intercept, that y, or the x-intercept, y is going to be 0, and we're looking for the y-intercept, the x is going to be 0. So we're going to use the equations to identify our x and y intercepts, and then we're going to use those to graph. Now, when we're trying to find the x and the y intercept, we know that the other variable is 0. So what we can do is we can put a 0 in, which cancels that variable out, and we can just split the equation into an x-coordinate equation and a y. So we're going to have -x equals 6. We're going to solve for x by dividing by -1. So we get x is -6. So for the x-intercept, we have -6, which means that y-coordinate will be 0. Then we're going to solve again, this time for y. So we're going to have 3x equal to 6. Divide by 3 on both sides. Y is 2. So if y is 2, remember that means that the x is going to be 0. So now that we have those 2 points, we can plot them on the graph and connect them. So the x-intercept, remember, goes on the x-axis at -6. The y-intercept is 0, 2, so that goes at 2 on the y-axis, and then I'm going to connect those points to form my line. So let's try another example. In number 5, in number 2, we have 5x plus y equals -10. So we're going to first do 5x equals -10 and solve for x. So we divide by 5 on both sides, x equals -2. So we would have -2, comma 0. Remember, 0 is for the variable we did not solve for. Then we're going to do the same thing with the y. Y equals -10. There's no need to solve because y is by itself. So this point is going to be 0, -10, because y was equal to -10. So now when I graph, for the x-intercept, I'm going to go to -2 on the x-axis. And for the y-intercept, I'm going to go to -10 on the y-axis, which is that last line down there. And then we just connect those 2 dots. So let's look at one more example. So in number 3, we have 5x minus 4y equals 20. So we're going to set 5x equal to 20, divide by 5, and we get x equals 4. So we would have 4, 0 for the x-intercept. And then for the y-intercept, we have -4y equals 20. We're going to divide by -4. So y is equal to -5. So our y-intercept would be 0, -5. And then we're going to plot those points and connect them. So on the x-axis, we're going to go to 4. And on the y-axis, we're going to go to -5. And then we're going to connect those 2 points.